Welcome back. Now the headpiece is all finished, as in step 23. It's now time to start this back section here, which is step 24, going into step 25. So with step 24, you get the main piece, which is A8. Then you do these two arms. So you've got the right one, which is A18 and A19. Just push those together to make the one arm. And then you've got A16 and A17 to make the other arm. And those plug into two square tabs. You've got on the triangular back part here, you've got a tab there. And then for the rod part of the arm, you've got that tab there. So that's both sides. So there's 16 and 17, because I've written on there. And there's 18 and 19, and I've just mounted those onto the side there. So that's those done. The next part is a movable joint, which is E11 for the main joint itself. It's in one piece, and then you've got two polyprop collars, which are both PCC. And that's that piece. See, there's the both of the polyprop sleeves on each side of the two pegs. That peg will mount into that hole. Once I've done that, you've got two brass coloured pieces, which are 02 and 04. And those are just pushed in there. There's one, and there's the other. Very, very easy indeed. So that's that. And then going on to step 25, I've done A4 and A6, which makes this like joint. So that's two parts, as you can see with that line. And eventually, once I've done that, then I've got this E9 and E10. Two side pieces, which are those. So with all that explained, I've now got to put all this together. Right, putting this together now, as in step 20, step 24 and step 25. I've now pushed that collar into place, which was that bit there. That's now pushed in, so you push those in, and then that arm, let's turn the flash on, will come through the hole at an angle like that. So that's that. Then you got your completed A4 and A6 assembly. There's like a little H-shape plug on there and a H-shape hole on the underneath of A8, which plugs in there. And then you get your E9 and E10. So the orientation, E9 goes in first. So that locks into that little tab there on the bottom of the E11 piece, which goes through that hole. And then you just push the A4 and A6 into that little channel. There's a little triangular gap there. And now I've just got to mount E10 onto those 5 pins, turning E10 over with these 5 holes there. Right, so I've pushed the E10 into place now. You've got the 5 pins, which you know about, and then in that thing there with that little square tab on E9, it also pushes out and pushes into E10, so I'll put that in first and then just lined all them holes up. And that's how that piece looks there, like that, sticking from the underneath of A8. And you've got a little ball joint there. You can see the little line in between. So the E9 and the E10. So with that being said, step 24 and step 25 is now complete to complete page 11. Right, going on to the next page, page 12. Continuing on with the, what was that part number now? A8 for the back section, into steps 26 and 27. So you get your A8 assembly from step 24 and 25. So you get this polycap D sleeve and push that into the hole there. Once that's pushed into place, then you get your E8 and you push that in onto the tabs so it'll encompass the polycap sleeve. So there's the tabs there at the back of E8, turning it round. So you push that down, and then as you're manoeuvring this piece round the O pieces from step 24, you've got to get this part of the E8 behind that lip there of A8. So you push that into place behind the lip. Right, now going on to step 27, which is rinse and repeat with a polycap sleeve D into that hole there, and the part this time on the other side is E2. So there's E2, again with the tabs, encompassing that polycap sleeve and the O part. You push that down, and then you push that part of the E2 behind that lip and lock that into place. So that's 26 and 27 of the back part done. Right, welcome back. Continuing on with step 28, because from the previous update I've done 26 and 27. You've got the explosive bay doors, the explosive launchers. So you've got A11, and then you've got 4 H2 parts, which would like them eye parts for the knee joint, the knee cap off the legs, and you push those into place. So pulling those up, I'm going to pause this a sec. So pulling those up, there's all your H2 pieces. So you push those into place, and then it's telling you to do the opening bay doors, which are all D1s, 4 of those, and you put them in at an angle, and then you clip down, and you've got them 2 locking tabs, so those move, as you can see. So that's the closed variant. So that's for A11, and then you've got 29, which is for A12. Same again with your H2 bits, push them into place. Then you get your D1s, same with the orientation, putting it in one side and then pushing it down with the tabs, and you get the other one. So that's those 2. Going on to step 30 is telling me to do the top part of the back, which is basically a lid. So you've got your 29 and 28 steps, which are those 2, which are the missile launchers, whatever you call them. The main part is A5, then you've got an insert which is J11, and then you put the missile launchers in, whatever explosive launchers. So that's A5. Then there's your J11 in there, just push that in, and then those doors will go in those 4 tabs there in that channel. And then on the next part, once I've done all that, it's telling me to put the lid on the step 27 piece with these 2 O, you know, the O coloured 1 and 3, which are the like the brass coloured things. So that one's 3 there, that locks into place from the side, and that one is O1. So now all that's done, all I've got to do is just put the lid on, and those missile launchers, explosive launchers, whatever you want to call them. Right, so now done the second part of step 30 by putting the lid on top of the back, and that's what it looks like all complete. Now there was a load of pins and a load of pinholes. I think there was about 8 all told. There was a couple here. I think there was 2 big ones just here and here, and then the other 4, 2 there and 2 there. So you line up all those pins, pushing it very, very gently. Once you know you got them in, just keep pushing, and then you won't hear the final click. You'll just know that it's all together. So that's the back part all complete. Moving on to the next page, because as I've done the back piece, This is page 13, the back piece was page 12. Going on to step 31, which almost looks like a gun shape assembly. So you've got the first part of step 31, you've got M10, E19 and J6. So that's M10. That's E19, which is the opposite of this. It's like a ribbed part. And that cap on the top there, that's going to be E19. So that's the orientation diagram. So you put M10 into J6 and then you rest E19 on the top. Then it's telling me to lock up the assembly with J8 and M5. And it's telling me I've got to put M5 on first and then J8, which is the opposite of J6, to make that like gun assembly. So there's M5, I've put that on. Now I've just got to lock it up with J8. So there's my completed 31 assembly with those two parts. Now what you've got to do is with E19, there's like that there. It's like a movable catch, and you've got to put half of it into J6, and then J8 will lock off the other half, because basically that moves. So that's why them have got to be locked into the channel. So that's something for you to look out for. Because there's, if you look just in front of my finger, there's the tab, and it moves in the channel of J8 and J6. Right, going on to step 32, you've got the 31 assembly, which looks like a gun assembly. It's telling me to put E3 on the one side with E17 locked into it, and then you've got the orientation steps. So you put E17 into E3, E3 into the gun assembly 31, and then you can lock it off with E5. So that's that. So that's there is E3. Whoops. Underneath is E1, and that's E5. So that's all that complete. Going on to step 33, you've got E4, A21 and A1, which is that. It's telling me to lock A1 into A21, because that's like a slider, so it moves backwards and forwards. And then once you've done that, then it's telling you to put it into E4, and then you've got, that's what it looks like, all assembled. So that's that. So that's the A1 and A21 into the E4. Going on to step 34, it's telling me to put a PCH collar in an E18 with that orientation, with the smaller end at the front and the bigger end at the back. So that's E18. That just locks into the top there. You got your PCH with the hole on the top there. Put this bloody flash on. So there's PCH with a hole on the top. Then it's telling me to lock E6 into place, so that's E6. And then once that's locked together, then I've got to put E20 on. With the gun assembly, all that. So I'm going to be doing all this now.